Hello and welcome to Death by Improv Plays Fiasco. I'm Mike Hochman and I'm joined by fellow DBI members. We've got Lex, Michelle, and Mick, and we're going to be playing a game for you today. Normally, Death by Improv plays improv games on a stage or on a screen, but today we're playing a tabletop game called Fiasco by Jason Morningstar from Bully Pulpit Games. It's a great game where we're going to basically make up a movie story, essentially. We've already taken this process of doing some setup here. We've established relationships and some important story elements, and we're gonna go ahead and act out a bunch of scenes or narrate out a bunch of scenes that tell the story of our four characters. So why don't we go around the table real quick and do some introductions. Let's start with you, Lex. Who are you playing?
I'll be playing Edwin Frett, the leader of our homeowners association.
Michelle?
My name is Justice Cruz. I'm not exactly well-liked for my opinions, but I still think I'm a really good person.
Mick?
I am Justice's brother, Ted Cruz. We have we're related to Justice because we're siblings. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, we have a very complex relationship because whereas I am like the golden child of the family, Justice is sort of the black sheep.
Stu Presswood, who I'll be playing, might disagree with that assessment, though, because you might consider yourself a golden child, but you are Stu's rival in the neighborhood. We've probably, going back years, I imagine, have a rivalry. And most recently, you're blaming me for some crap that happened to your house that I swear I had nothing to do with. So we'll get into that and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I share gossip all the time with the head of the HOA here, Edwin Frett. Sometimes people in the neighborhood just need some shit talking. So
important to me that I know everything that's going on in the neighborhood at all times.
Yeah. So we're gonna jump right into our first act. We don't necessarily have to go in any order, but in each half of this game, we each are in the spotlight for 2 scenes. So does anybody have an idea to get us started? A scene they would like their character in, featuring themselves and someone else at the table. Cricket.
I don't have a burning need to start with anything in particular.
I do second
First time.
that.
I'm waiting for anybody else to go first.
All right, I will kick it off. I think we start. I think this will be a scene between Ted and Stu, and I think this will be about. I think this is literally you coming over with this this paint sprayer filled with red paint that you are accusing me of having wrecked your house with. And as we play this scene, Michelle or Lex, or even Mick, you can, while you're in the scene, someone will decide whether this is going to end well or bad for me. And by doing that, they will just click on one of these cards, drag it to the table, and that will indicate to me whether or not I need to wrap it up with a good or bad ending for myself. Simple enough. So let's kick it off. I think it's, I'm probably out mowing the lawn and you just come walking up to me with this Hudson sprayer. That's a water sprayer, I guess. But anyway, this paint sprayer. I'm just like, hey, watch where you're walking. I just mowed, Ted.
Well, I'll watch where you mowed when you watch what the hell you're doing with your damn power sprayer spraying the exterior of my damn house.
Oh, you think I did that?
I'm pretty sure you are.
It's
no secret that you're not a fan of mine.
I woke up and saw that paint job and just thought you were really, really shitty at home decoration.
Hey, I'm excellent at home decoration. I always have the finest Christmas lights on the entire block.
You have a blow-up reindeer. That is so tacky, Ted.
That is class personified. It's not just a inflatable reindeer. It is an entire fleet of inflatable reindeer to propel my inflatable Santa from one house to the other.
Santa has a fixed number of reindeer, and you put like 24 up on your roof. That don't make no sense, Ted.
Well, in the imagination scape of my mind, Santa can have as many dang reindeers as he wants to. In fact, he should have more so he can bring more presents to me because I'm a good person and he needs a lot to bring all the coal he's going to be bringing to you because of the horrible, horrible things you've done.
Will you watch where you're...
I'll watch where I'm walking when you watch where you're spraying, Presswood.
You just trampled my wife's favorite flowers.
Her flowers are crap. Just like your whole garden is crap.
And I think with that, I've got some ruined flowers to deal with. And so whoever dragged a negative point over to me, that scene ended poorly for Stu with some ruined flowers. So who would like to go next? Shall we just go around the table? Lex, you're up.
Sure.
Looks like
This scene can be with anybody else?
It can be with anybody else. If you need other characters, we can step in to play those parts.
I think
but
this will be with
the important thing
Justice
is you're
Cruz.
in the spotlight.
I'm really concerned, Justice. This, our development here, Wynwood Pines, really needs to have a turn for the better, given that the end of summer party was a disaster. Stu and Ted are at each other's throats again. And we're not going to be able to attract new homeowners here to the 17 open houses left if we can't get people acting friendly and charming and like those people in Groundhog Day.
Yeah. You know, Edwin, I would do absolutely anything in my power to make sure that this goes well. That people live here and that people do well and that people pay you respect.
Listen, I noticed the first day I met you that your initials are the same as Jesus Christ's, and I think that means something.
Thank you. You're the only person who thinks highly of me that I know.
I do, Justice. I do. And I think you dispense justice and wisdom, but my feeling is this. We need to institute a community policy. If you're going to be in Wynwood Pines and you're going to live here, you've got to be friendly.
Absolutely.
We've got to love one another.
Absolutely.
Like your namesake initial person says, you got to love your neighbor as yourself.
And I most certainly, for you, Edwin, don't mind taking on my namesake initials and maybe being the JC of this homeowner's place.
Good God. And I mean that quite literally.
Edwin, I appreciate that you seem to be willing to follow me and my word. Well, your word. But I'll make it my word.
The fact that your word is my word and my word is your word, it feels like a virtuous circle of love. And that's what Wynwood Pines needs.
I think Woodwind Pines not only needs a virtuous circle of love, but maybe some symbol when you first walk in.
Yes. We need topiaries. We need topiaries. We need a heart-shaped topiary at the front entrance of our development.
Edwin, that absolutely we do. I will make sure that I make this happen for you.
I feel like that is a positive outcome for Edwin.
Edwin has gotten some much needed sucking up from Justice.
Thank you, Justice.
A plan to make some topiary. I think that is pretty positive. So Michelle, that makes you up next.
I think
what does Justice want to see?
I think Justice needs to have a talk with Justice's sibling. I think we got to see where their relationship is, what they agree on, what they don't disagree on. That's the same thing. Don't disagree means agree.
All right.
I'm really good with words. Your name is Ted. Ted, I heard you fighting this morning again.
Well, that bastard knows what he did. He sprayed my dang house with the red paint in the power sprayer, Justice. I think justice needs to be served, and I'm not talking about like you at a diner. I mean like actual justice.
Well, thank you, Ted, for not putting me on a plate again. Did you see him do it? You've got to love your neighbor and not assume things about your neighbor.
I know not to assume, because it's like they say in church, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I remember that Jesus said that in one of his parables. So I'm not assuming nothing, but I know for a fact he's got it out for me. and I saw it was done, and it was left on my property. There's no one in this neighborhood who'd do something like that to me other than him.
Ted.
I'm beloved. I'm the golden boy, just like how mommy and daddy, like how they're always in my corner and saying, "Oh, Ted, oh, you've done so good again." I know you wouldn't know what that's like, but it feels good.
I know. I don't know what it's like.
No.
It's like they barely see me.
Well,
Ted.
yeah.
I feel like I do have some connection with Jesus. I feel like Jesus and I are one in a lot of ways.
Well, if you do have that kind of connection, could you ask him to kill Presswood for me?
Oh my. I really feel like Jesus wouldn't want that.
But I mean, I've been a good and virtuous person all my life, and I don't ask for much. You ask for one person to be smoted. I don't feel like that's a lot.
Well, under Jesus's eyes, I think it's more than a lot. And I know that Jesus would want you. I'm not. All right.
Well, how about this?
Me, as your sibling here, Ted.
Yeah.
I want you two to get along.
Well.
And I want to see love and hope in this community, and it starts with you.
All right. Well, Justice, you put a lot of thoughts into my mind that weren't there before. So you know what? For your sake, because you're my sibling and I love you, and for the goodness of the baby Jesus above, I will attempt to make peace with him. I won't make any guarantees that things is going to be all peaches and cream with us going forward, but I will do my damn.
I think
Don't tell Jesus I said this.
I think the scene ends with, as this is being talked about in the background, you see Stu walking a dog who's just taking a giant shit on your lawn. But you agreeing
with the dog.
Yes. But you agreeing to what Justice was saying was positive for Justice.
Justice is gaining a following.
All right.
So, Mick, why don't you tell us what you want the spotlight to look like on Ted?
Okay, so I think Ted, he's going to make a good faith effort to try to make things right with Stu, but he and Stu are not close. So I think what Ted will do is he will talk to Edwin, because he knows they're always gossiping with each other, and ask for a little bit of knowledge about what Stu likes, and maybe he can try to find a way to win Stu's affection and the war. So I picture that maybe Edwin's out front pruning his begonias. Are begonias bushes? He's pruning something, and I approach him, and I'm carrying a 6-pack to split with him as a friendly gesture. Edwin, how you doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? Can I tempt you with a brew?
Mr. Cruz, to what do I owe this unexpected neighborly generosity?
Well, I know for a fact how hard you work at maintaining the HOA, and I know how important it is to you, and I know that me and Prestwood's little fracas is a black eye on the whole development, and I know you and him are close, and I just want to know, what is he like? What is he into? Because I want to give him some sort of a peace offering, but all I know about him is when I hear his name is just a white hot flame of rage going off in my skull, and I need to know more than that.
I hear your pain. I'm going to tell you, first of all, you say HOA, I say HOA. You can, whatever term you prefer is fine, but we call it the HOA.
I like a good HOA.
Where I learned this, and I can't believe you don't know this about Stu, given how close you live. The man loves any kind of reference book, dictionary, encyclopedia, atlas, Wikipedia printouts. The man loves a paper form of reference material.
My goodness gracious, I never would have thought him to be such a learned man.
Oh, I didn't say he reads them. He loves owning them. He loves pawing through the pages. I'm not saying he's a fool. This is no dunce, no doofus, no dunderhead.
Well, it takes a smart kind of person to spray a man's house with a power sprayer full of paint. So I know that he's got something going on between those old ears of his.
Tell me more about this paint situation.
Well, it's the damnedest thing is we've had a back and forth, and then the other day, I look outside my window first thing in the morning, and I see my house is covered in this red paint, and then I see the damn Wagner power spray was left on my property line, right adjacent to his property line, and I know we ain't got along well in the past, so I just figured this is Presswood being Presswood, and
Ted,
damn it if I don't get all bent out of shape just talking about it.
I see it, I hear it, I feel it. Can I be honest with you? What I'm hearing is this. You looked out the outside of your house one day, and it had been marked in red. The Bible tells us when the Jewish people marked their homes with red, that's how the angel of death knew to pass over their homes, ignore him. Then you found a gift someone had left for you, a Wagner power sprayer. It sounds to me like you have been touched.
An angel?
Appropriately. Touched by something. Touched by something good. Touched by something that maybe you and I can't understand. But it sounds to me like something good happened to you.
Well, I think I never thought about it like that, but that's what I like about you, Edwin. You made me take the facts that were already established and made me look at them from a way that I wouldn't necessarily have thought to look at them. You're a very wise man, and I can see why they put you in charge of the Hoa.
I appreciate that. There was a vote, but I think, yes, they voted for me. Given exactly what you said. I do think it is. Listen, I'm not a man with a big head, but I think I have gifts, and I think that is one of them, exactly as you described it.
Well, and I'll say, in a right neighborly way of ribbing you, I'll say your head is fairly large for the proportions of your torso, but that's just me joshing you in a neighborly, friendly sort of way.
That's funny.
I know, isn't it?
It's very funny.
Thank you.
But seriously, Ted, I appreciate the beer, and I appreciate the conversation.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I will take what you said under advisement, and I will find such a reference volume for Prestwood that boy, howdy, we will just be the bestest of friends going forward. I just know it.
God bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that worked out well for Ted. He got a little bit of intel on Stu, I guess. So after the first round, I'm the only one who's had a negative outcome, which just means everyone's got more negative outcomes in their future because there's a limited supply here.
Just like life.
So as we go into the second round here, we still have plenty of story elements that we chose before the game that we haven't even touched on yet. So we've still got some exploring to do. And for that, I think Stu is going to, I think sort of in follow-up to Ted talking to Edwin, Stu now needs to get his piece in with him. And so he's invited Edwin over, and, says, why don't you come on in, Fret, grab a seat, I'll grab you a drink. Feel free to, I got a new Rand McNally road atlas. Feel free to flip through.
Very cool. Where'd you get this?
They sell them at the 7-Elevens. You just gotta go looking for them. They're not out front. But anyway, you want a beer, water? What do you need?
Can I be honest with you?
Always, Fret.
I absolutely hate beer. I would love a water, a lemonade, a Diet Cola.
Well, that's three. I have all three. Which would you like?
Could I get a water mixed with Diet Cola?
Sure. I'll split a can with you.
Perfect.
Walk into the kitchen. You hear the snap of the can. A couple of pouring. Comes back out. Got some disgustingly watered down Diet Coke.
The regular stuff's just a little bit too strong for me.
I can see that. I mean, you probably saw the mess on the side of the old Cruz house, right?
What the hell is wrong with that guy?
I don't know. He's bringing down property values. I'll tell you that much. I
find that man very, very unlikable.
I mean, if he keeps doing everything he's doing, nobody's going to buy the old Derrickson house down the street.
I'm pretty concerned about it. We need a lot of the houses in the development to go wild, but what I don't understand is what's going on with the outside of his home.
Well, it's someone covered in red paint. Some hooligan. Could have been him. Trying for attention, maybe.
You think we've got hooligans here in Woodwind Pines? I'm thinking of renaming it.
It's a good name. It's a good name, Edwin. Look, you know, I don't know if we have hooligans in our neighborhood, but sometimes hooligans come from outside the neighborhood. Sometimes there's bad apples right here, though. Might not have been a hooligan. Might have been Ted just trying to drum up pity.
Stu, sometimes I think you live up to your name. I think you sit, and I think you stew. Sure, maybe Ted desecrated his own home.
He didn't only desecrate his own home. He ruined Abigail's petunias.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's unnecessary.
Yeah,
and it's a violation of the HOA, as far as I'm concerned.
Just stomped all over him. Yeah,
that's disrespectful. And there are consequences. But if you didn't see the man defoul his own house, and you're saying you didn't do it, I'm not buying this hooligan story. I think there could be more to it than we're realizing.
Wait, if I didn't see him do it, you don't believe the other option that hooligans might have done it?
Correct. I'm saying if you didn't see him do it, I don't think he did. And I don't believe.
So what third option do you think it is?
I think that we've been blessed by a power larger than ourselves here in Woodwind Pines. I think that something greater than humanity may have marked Ted's home.
You're saying an otherworldly presence.
This could be the watered-down Diet Coke talking, but yes, I'm saying an otherworldly presence.
That's probably not the Diet Coke. That's the caffeine-free stuff.
Oh, then it could be the water.
Are you saying we got bad pipes? And
no, it was a joke. It was a joke, Stu. It wasn't the water. Don't you feel inspired here? You look out your windows at these magnificent vistas. We've got hills. We've got trees. We've got Route 37. There's inspiration here. That's what it's talking. You breathe in that nature. You bring in that vista. You breathe out blessings.
I suppose. And the real blessing would be if the Derrickson house goes for a pretty penny. It'll raise all our property values when it comes time to sell, you know?
Oh, man. Listen, it's the only 4-bedroom in the development. I'm thinking 100,000 per bedroom.
Yeah.
You've got to sell it as a whole set. I'm not saying piecemeal.
We're not about to have subletters, splitting rooms.
You don't say the S word in Woodwind Pines.
I know it'd be a violation of the HOA rules.
The what rules?
The bylaws, the HOA bylaws.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I just think, trying to think how to make this a positive thing because I don't feel like it has been.
I think it was a little bit ago. Getting the the HOA owner on your side, it seems, knowing that.
Fair. I'll take that justification.
Yes.
Plus, it seems at least like I don't like your enemy for some reason, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That seems positive for you.
Knows your innocence.
Sorry, Ted.
It's all right.
Oh shit.
So it is Lex's turn to set up a scene, and if you don't have an idea, you can always pitch it to the table to establish a scene for you that you would get to choose your own outcome for.
Let's do that.
Sure. Anyone have ideas for what Edwin Fret might be getting up to? I mean, I'm curious about this secret room that is drywalled in that is somehow important to Edwin and Justice.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
So do we? The question is it Edwin's room or is it a room he's discovering that?
Ooh. I mean, I think this secret room definitely has something to do with my sibling and trying to maybe spy on Ted. I don't know if we are aware it exists, if we're in it, or if we found it. I don't know.
What if, because you and Edwin have this tight relationship, that the two of you, like, that he has like sort of walk-in privileges at your house, so he comes to talk to you about this whole situation with Stu and Ted and everything, and maybe just absent-mindedly, as he's sort of walking into your house, sort of stumbles upon this secret room.
Yeah, and I mean, it is definitely in the HOA agreement that the HOA
All floor
top-
plans need to be published. Yeah.
top dog needs to, for any inspection at any time. So yeah, I think maybe it's
All right, so
just been discovered.
So this is a scene where Edwin is discovering Justice's secret room, and whatever that happens to be, we'll find out. Take it away.
Edwin walks in, since he has walk-in privileges, and first can't find Justice. Justice.
Oh my.
Justice?
Edwin?
Justice,
Edwin?
where are you?
Well,
You're not in the one bedroom of your one bedroom home.
I don't quite know how to tell you where I am.
I'm
But-
trying to approach the sound of your voice, but I don't even see a door here.
All right, do you see the little X on the wall? It's red.
This red one?
Yeah, go ahead, just push it.
What? Justice!
Yep.
What is this place?
Well, I haven't quite figured out a name for it yet, but I do my best thinking here.
I think we see monitors with
I-
security
yes,
camera
yes, we
footage
do.
of the entire neighborhood.
I've never seen this many iPad screens in one room before. And is that Ted's house? Is that
Yes.
is that my house?
That is your house.
Justice, what is this?
Just my way of keeping an eye on everyone.
Listen, I appreciate any good neighborhood watch as any HOA president would, but this violates code number 62B of our HOA agreement, because it says every room in a house must be on the floor plan, and this wasn't. How did you even get this built? And why are you spying on all of us?
I wouldn't quite call it spying, Edwin.
What would you call it, JC?
Making sure that everybody's doing okay. Spying, that doesn't have a very good vibe to it. I'm making sure that everything's okay.
You listen to me. You had one responsibility to this development right now, and that was to get that topiary built. Instead, you've been violating multiple subsections. Spying on neighbors, violation.
You make
Having a
it-
hidden room, violation. I'm going to move at the next HOA meeting for your removal, and you know you can't spell Edwin without win.
Oh, you make this sound so negative. You're saying you don't like it?
Justice, I'm going to be honest with you. Over the past several months, I felt like I was falling for you.
Oh,
But no more. No longer. I can't love someone who would betray the sanctity of the HOA repeatedly and seemingly without any guilt or remorse.
you can't spell justice without just. And
Yeah,
I
you are just a disgrace to your initial namesake.
I was just trying to spread some love.
You're as cold as the ice that makes up the other part of your name.
Oh. I can't believe you don't approve of this.
Don't approve. Don't approve. No one violates the sanctity of Woodwind Pines HOA.
You know that the HOA is my guide.
It doesn't seem that way at all.
I promise I'll make this up to you. I promise I'll show you this isn't in bad faith.
In fact, I don't think you will. I think you won't make it up to me, and I think it is bad faith. I think every outcome of this conversation is negative.
I think so too.
And just because this is the first time we've done this mechanic this game, Lex, did you choose that negative card, or did someone mistakenly drag it out?
Somebody did.
Oh,
it on
I'm
my
sorry.
team.
Yeah, I
Okay.
forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that he was supposed to make the pick on that.
When the table sets the scene, the player
Yeah.
gets to choose the outcome. But if you agree it should be negative, then that is fine, Lex.
I wanted it to be negative because I wanted to achieve balance.
Which in the end might not work out so well for us, but we'll see how it goes. All right.
Right, you said we shouldn't go for balance. Now I remember.
Yeah, in the final outcome of the game, if your balance of positive and negative scores out to a 0, that is the worst outcome you can have.
Now I remember that.
But
Thanks, Mick.
none of the outcomes end up being particularly good, so it doesn't matter.
That's why they call it Fiasco by Jason Morningstar from Bully Pulpit Games. That's how you refer to it at the start, and I think that's how we should always refer to the name of the game.
Michelle, what does Justice do after that?
WWJD.
Wow.
What would Justice do? And keep in mind, we also don't have to tell a linear story. If you ever want a flashback, a dream sequence, anything you could see in a movie or TV show can be done here. Any weird ideas, or it could just be 2 minutes later, whatever you want.
2 minutes later.
I definitely know we haven't quite touched on that telescope looking across the street, and it does seem like now is as good as time to, bring that up. But part of me is also curious as to why Justice is the black sheep of the family. Like, it's interesting that someone so loving is a black sheep. So I don't know. I think I definitely want to be in maybe Ted and Justice's parents' house. See. And
how about we make the suggestion? Let me make a suggestion.
Yes.
Where I am walking into the room and discovering that you have had this secret telescope and you are spying on like the person across the street, and that's sort of, you've been on this sort of surveillance kick from a very early age, and as a result the family just sort of thought you were like a weirdo creep.
Yes.
So question, did your parents grow up in this neighborhood also?
Oh, of course. We haven't left.
Yeah.
We're lifers.
All right, so this is a flashback to when you were kids.
Ted.
What's up, Justice?
Come on, come look over here.
What do you got there?
Look, you can see. Look here, put your eye right here, right.
My goodness, that's a telescope.
Yeah.
And it's pointed right across the street.
Yeah, no. Now look on this side so you can see what I was seeing.
Oh my Lord, that person is not wearing no clothes.
I know.
What kind of person? What kind of person? What kind of person walks around their house stark naked as a jaybird like that?
I don't know. Maybe they're taking a bath in a field.
But they're not in. They're in their kitchen. Why would they be naked in a kitchen? That just don't make no sense. Unless they're going to take a bath in the sink, but they're too big for that.
I mean, babies do it, so maybe they are.
Unless maybe across the street, it's a weird giant baby family that we didn't realize was a giant baby family. Wow.
That makes a lot of sense, Ted.
Does. It really, really does. It explains so much.
Hey.
I think, yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I have more telescopes upstairs.
You do? What else have you seen?
Oh, I could see everything.
Oh, wow. Like, you could get information about anybody in the neighborhood, I bet.
Absolutely anybody. And
wow. You know what? I bet if we tell Daddy about that, he's gonna be so happy. Because he always wants to be such a good neighbor. And it's like the more he knows about the neighbors, the better neighbor he'll be.
No, you can't tell
Kids, what
Daddy.
you up to up here?
Daddy, look
No,
at Justice
we're
got.
playing
Look at what
Scrabble.
Justice got.
We're playing Scrabble.
Daddy, look, Justice got some telescopes looking across the street.
It's
Justice
Scrabble.
Philadelphia Cruz. I will admit I love seeing you play with your brother. I just wish you weren't such a sicko weirdo. You are a disappointment to the crew's name.
Well, I didn't. You make it sound so bad.
You're literally watching our giant baby neighbors, and that is totally inappropriate.
So you knew there was a giant baby neighbor, Daddy?
I'm supposed to keep their secret, and there you are spying on them.
Spy? No, I'm just watching them. You make it sound so bad.
Oh,
by
the way,
do you think it's a good thing? Would you say it's a positive thing that I'm doing that?
Daddy, by the way, I got my report card and I made Dean's List again.
I am proud of you, Ted. But you listen to me, Justice Philadelphia.
Yes, Daddy J.
The only way this is a good thing is if you take this sicko weirdo pastime of yours and you make sure that you use it for good. You cultivate a relationship with your brother that matters. You serve the communities in which you live.
Yeah.
You take care of the people. You use your powers of creeping on others for good.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you commit to a life like that?
I could commit to a life like that.
Oh, Justice, aren't you so happy? Daddy approves.
Daddy, you really approve?
Just
I
don't
promise.
tell anybody our neighbors are giant babies, please. I've promised to keep that secret.
I will love them no matter what they are.
Specifically giant babies.
I do. I love giant babies.
The scene resolves back into just Justice sitting like in the present, just watching surveillance video alone in her room.
Can't believe those giant babies left town.
Did they? Did they?
All right. Well.
All right, Mick. Final scene of the act. So far, things have been going mostly positive for people.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But what do you want? What do you want Ted's final scene of Act 1 to be, or would you rather the table set it up?
No, this actually, I know where I want to go with this. So I'm going to say it's the next Saturday, and Stu is out in his yard repairing the flowers which I trampled previously. But I've come to see Stu with my peace offering. Stu, neighbor, friend, brother. I think that you and we clearly have. I'm so tired of all this a feuding and a fussing, and I know that you and I, if we really try to make an effort, we can be really good friends.
I don't know about friends, Ted. I mean, driving Abigail to drink all day. I'm out here replanting her petunias because you can't watch where you step.
Well, I do. I spoke to. I know that you and Edwin over at the Hoa are really, really tight, and I asked him a little bit about you, so maybe I could improve our relationship, and I got you a little something which I think you'll enjoy. And I take out from behind my back, I was holding a book for you. It's the I Can't Chew cookbook, which is delicious soft diet recipes for people with chewing, swallowing, and dry mouth disorders. I know you like reference books, and I think this will go really well on the shelf in your parlor, or perhaps your study, or your home office, because I know how much you enjoy reference material. And I did know. I did
it's a
hear
nice
about
gesture, Ted, but.
And I know that Abigail, because she had to have her jaw removed, so I thought it could be practical to you as well.
You know, she doesn't like people talking about that.
Well, it's kind of hard to not talk about it when there's a woman next door who don't have a jaw. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't want to. I don't mean to poke fun, but the way it just.
Are you laughing at my? Are you laughing at my wife, Ted?
I'm not laughing at her, but maybe.
I mean, you can't if you can't laugh at yourself, Stu.
It's just Ted. I'll be in soon, honey.
I'm sorry, but if you can't see the humor in it, I mean, it's just.
And I think Stu looks around and with the spade in hand, just kidney stabs Ted for laughing at his wife.
Stu, this is the way you react to me being a good neighbor and trying to be a friend. Well, I'll tell you this.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ted. This is just an innocent gardening accident.
This is not an innocent garden accident. I have been in my share of innocent gardening accidents before. That's how I lost this here fingertip. And I know an innocent gardening accident when I see one. This is war, Presswood. I am not going to let this slide. You will rue the day that you ran afoul of Ted Cruz.
That brings us to the end of our first act. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll tally up some scores, and then we will add in some new story elements with the tilt in the middle of our story here. So we will be back in just a moment. We are back for Act 2 of Fiasco as we continue our way through the home invasion playset. I don't think I said that at the beginning of the game, but that is the playset we're playing for anyone who's interested to try it out themselves, come up with their own characters.
Specifically of Fiasco by Jason Morningstar from Bully Pulpit Games.
Lex, why do you make fun of me for giving credit where credit's due?
I loved it. It was so good. I really thought you were going to keep going for like another minute of title.
Anyway, we are now at Act 2. We've added up our positive and negative scores so far and determined that I had the highest negative so far with a net of -3, and Michelle had the highest positive with a net of 9. So that meant we each got to pick new elements for the end of the for the second half of the game here, and I picked innocence. Somebody is not so innocent after all, and we'll see how that enters into our story. And Michelle picked paranoia. 2 people cross paths and everything changes, which again, we don't know which 2 people those will be or what changes, but we'll find out soon enough as we pick up with Act 2 here. And does anyone have strong feelings on where we start in Act 2? We don't have to necessarily continue right away with me.
I'm curious to know how you would feel about Justice meeting with Stu's jawless wife, who it turns out can talk just fine.
Ooh.
So with Justice being the only primary character, that would mean it's Justice in the spotlight for that scene then?
Yes.
Is that interesting to you, Michelle?
Yes, her name is Abigail. Yes?
Abigail
Right,
Presswood, yeah.
Oh, yes. I think the fact that, people are under the impression that maybe she doesn't talk so well, but she does. We're about to find out something.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we take it away? Lex, would you like to reprise the role of Abigail?
I put that role up to the group. Anybody who would like to take on Abigail. Mick does an incredible jawless voice, but remember, she can really speak.
I feel like this was your pitch, and you've already embodied the character.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Come on, Abigail.
And I was just doing an impression.
So is this Justice has discovered Abigail can really speak? Is that what
I think Justice
seeing?
is confronting Abigail because on her spy shit, she saw what Abigail
Oh,
said.
yes. So she invited Abigail to her house, and Abigail's walking in, and Justice is in her secret room. Justice, I'm Justice. Abigail. Abigail. There's a red X on the wall. I want you to walk towards it and press it. Just do it.
Holy shit!
That was a holy shit, right? This is my secret place. That's your house.
You know
I know.
I can still talk.
I know you could still talk, Abigail. I see you talking to yourself all the time. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Who else knows?
I just know. I haven't told anybody, and I won't. Well, I mean, I know, but he knows too.
He knows?
He knows.
He who?
He who knows.
In between all the security monitors, we see a cross on the wall.
He knows.
You mean our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think it's a sin that I lie to Stu and Ted and Edwin and everyone else in town about my ability to speak?
Absolutely not. No. But I need to know why. If there's a good reason why, then there's nothing wrong with it, because everybody has a reason why.
Justice, there is a reason.
Yes. What is it?
Does any of your incredibly technically advanced spy material in here peek at Edwin's house?
I mean, yes. Hold on.
Have you noticed anything unusual about Edwin?
No. Nothing too unusual.
The man's a giant baby. I'm not speaking metaphorically.
You really think
I got really drunk after the jaw surgery. Went into the wrong house. It was his. He was lying on the floor under a mobile, wearing a diaper, saying gaga goo goo when I suddenly realized, holy shit, the man's a giant baby.
We need to look at this.
Call him up on the screens.
There he is.
He's got a rattle in his hand. Justice?
No.
Do you have any cameras in his bathroom?
I mean, I do, but I'm...
Call it up. He's not in there. We're not violating his privacy. Call it up.
Okay, Abigail.
Diaper genie. He doesn't have a toilet. He just has a diaper genie.
And he doesn't have any babies in his house.
No. He's the baby.
Oh my goodness, no.
So I stopped talking because once I knew this, I knew I'd tell everybody. I knew Edwin wanted to keep it a secret, and I figured say nothing to nobody at any time.
That makes a lot of sense, Abigail.
Well, I thought so too.
No, there's absolutely no. He still loves you, Abigail, and he still loves me too. He knows I'm doing work for him, and that your jaw would be work for him too.
I'll tell you, when I found out about Edwin, it dropped. Almost literally. My jaw.
How were you drinking after the surgery? That's what I want to know. Not why, how. It's fine. We could talk about that
The truth
another
is,
day.
it's a drug problem.
A drug problem.
I injected straight in my veins. And I'm going to start injecting in the other folks in this town to try to ease some of the misery here. Against their will, without their knowledge or consent.
I can't let you do that.
I don't think you have a choice.
Of course I have a choice. I'm here to spread love and make sure everybody cooperates.
You rat me out on my plan to illegally and unethically drug everyone in this neighborhood, and I'll tell them all about your secret spy shack.
No.
Yes.
It's not illegal and unethical, either of us, I guess. Because he still loves us. I don't know.
God hates you.
Oh! Absolutely.
See.
That's pretty negative.
Lex just checking all the boxes. Somebody's not so innocent after all. Abigail.
Yeah. Definitely two people crossing paths and everything changes, though, too.
I was just trying to fight Justice's inclination to make it be positive. I wanted to be sure it was not.
So we've now had Stu Presswood stab his neighbor with a gardening spade, and
Oh my goodness,
Abigail
that happened.
Presswood is apparently plotting to inject drugs into everybody unwillingly.
The Presswoods really are jerks.
Yeah, but they're lying to each other apparently. So that was Michelle's scene. Although I just realized I screwed it up again. We pitched the scene to Michelle, and then I awarded the point. So Michelle, were you happy with it being a negative outcome?
I mean, I felt like
If we need
maybe
to
it was
if we need
a
to
little
rewind
forced.
God loves you.
No, it's a negative. Yeah, sure.
it. All right, we'll let my wife Mickey Mouse be this
That's
evil.
exactly what I was
thing.
hearing. Oh boy, pal.
Not to
Be real
belittle anyone
soon.
who actually has had to have jaw surgery. That sounds horrible. But
Yeah, I'm not actually jawish.
yeah. So that was
Night,
a
everybody.
justice scene. Hey, put those headphones back on, Mick. What is Ted up to going into Act 2 here? He's been stabbed with a garden spade. His sister, I forget, do you know about the secret room? You probably don't, right?
I don't think
We haven't
I do.
seen it in a scene
No.
yet, right?
I don't think you
Not with
do
the two
know
of us.
about it.
So I think this is Ted going back to Justice and trying to enlist Justice to help exact revenge on Stu.
Okay.
I did my best, Justice. I tried. I tried to be right neighborly. I tried to appeal to his better nature, but he just don't have one. He stabbed me in the side just for making fun of the way his jawless wife talks.
What
What kind of neighbor is that?
What did he stab you with?
It was a spade, a garden spade,
Okay. Okay. Well,
whatever you call it.
All right. I think you're probably good for now. Then I don't.
What do you mean I'm good
How
for
do you-
now?
How do you feel? Do you
I feel. I mean, obviously, it hurts a little bit. You know, if I sleep on this side, man, does it give me an ouchie. But but I think the main thing I'm feeling is a burning desire for revenge, to see him driven before me and to hear the jawless lamentations of his woman.
Okay, but you do feel pain, so I'm gonna say it's good.
Oh, it's good. It's good that you think it's good that I feel pain.
I don't think
I
it's
thought
good.
you were the one person I could trust in this world, Justice.
I know you'll be healed. I know.
Oh, I don't want to hear I'm going to be spiritually healed or any of that. I need physical revenge after I physically heal, and you're the only person I know who can help me do it. You're the only person I trust, Justice.
Revenge?
Revenge.
I don't. He wouldn't want that, Ted. He would.
I hope I would never have to show you this, but I have here, when I was searching for a book to give to Prestwood to try to win him over, I found this.
What is it?
It's the secret lost book of the Bible, where Jesus swore revenge on all the people who wronged him. It's what he would want, is for us to go on a bloody revenge rampage.
Let me see that.
Here it is. Turn it to chapter 6, verse 66, and it will tell you exactly what I need you to know. Read it out loud to me, please.
I need to process this first. Hold on.
Read it out loud. I need you to hear it. You need to hear it in your voice for it to really sink in. What does it say, Justice? What does it say?
When they wrong you, you doest the wrong back.
It's time for us to do some shit onto them. Now,
I can't doest.
Thou can doest. I know thou hast it in them.
Where did you find this rubbish?
That used bookstore on 7th Street. It's pretty cool, actually. And they sell these frappuccinos there, which are really tasty. And after we get some revenge, I will treat you to one. But I think it's high time for us to destroy all of them that wronged us and stabbed me. And I know you can help me with that.
That's the devil's work. It is. It was written in. You can just feel it. I could feel it.
It's authentic. It's authentic. Look, if you open the inside cover, it says copyright date 33 AD. So you know that it's legit.
Do you feel it though? Are you feeling anything different?
I feel since I've given into my rage, a sense of peace wash over me that I think I have never felt in my entire life.
Peace.
Peace
Okay, I think
brought on by rage. And
Mick.
once that rage is sated, I'll be even more peaceful. I'll be the peacefulest bastard you ever did meet.
All right, maybe you're still okay then.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I think.
Trust me.
All right. I don't want to hurt them, but
Yeah.
I think
You can hurt them in ways that don't involve physical pain.
I think I'll do it. I will doist wrong back.
Doest it on to thou. To that thou, not you thou, them thou.
All right.
I think
Feels
that
positive.
is good. Yeah, Ted has recruited his sister to help get some revenge here. Great.
To get it twisted, yeah.
So I think Stu. I think Stu goes back to Edwin. I think at this point, he knows he just not too long ago stabbed his neighbor and is trying to get away with it. But I think he goes to Edwin about the Derrickson house. I think Stu and Abigail are looking to upscale. So they're thinking about buying the Derrickson house and selling their house. So he goes to Edwin to discuss that possibility. But I think when he shows up, Edwin is probably hears the door knocking and is in diaper in his living room. So let's start with just that. What does Edwin do when he is surprised by somebody at the door?
Gaga, just a minute. Siri, remind me to change the diaper genie in 4 hours.
Reminder set.
Just 1 more minute, please.
Ding dong.
I can't wear a onesie for guests. Stu, what a pleasant surprise.
Edwin,
Come on in.
have you heard the latest nonsense out of the Cruz household?
Honestly, I was playing with my playing music, so no, I didn't hear what's going on.
He's going around telling people I stabbed him.
Stu,
Can you believe that?
did you stab him?
Why would you ask me that, Edwin?
I mean, literally from my window, I can see that there's more red on his wall of his house. There's red across the lawn, and it goes all the way up to your house. Did you happen to stab him on your front lawn, and he ran back to his own home screaming like a little baby? Screaming like a child?
How dare you, Edwin?
That's the way you talk to the HOA president? Are you sure you want to go down this path?
I've been a model resident of this neighborhood. In fact, Abigail and I were thinking about buying the Derrickson home.
How's Abigail feeling, by the way?
Well, she's okay. She has better days than others,
Don't we all? Well, you're thinking of buying the Derrickson home?
Yeah, we've been looking to scale up, maybe expand our family.
You're talking about
figure if we
having
buy the Derrickson home,
babies?
We've talked about it. I mean, Abigail signs about it, but
Because of the jaw.
yeah. But
Well,
you,
I'm supportive
you
of
accuse
more-
me of being a violent neighbor. Maybe when the next HOA elections
HOA.
come up, maybe the HOA needs some new leadership, Edwin.
Let me tell you something. Those elections aren't for another 7 months and 13 days.
Unless we call for a recall.
You wouldn't dare. Stu, I can help you. I can make it easy for you to get. You've said you've been a model citizen. I consider our 1-4-bedroom to be a model home, literally and figuratively. I can grease the skids and get you into that place. Be like taking candy from it'd be like stealing things from young people.
I wouldn't steal from children.
No, that would be needlessly cruel.
That'd be worse than stabbing Ted.
Did you stab Ted, Stu? Literally, your name could be an acronym for Stabbing Ted University, like you teach it at a college.
You agree he's a bastard, right?
Oh, I fucking hate Ted. I'm not mad if you stabbed him. I just prefer honesty. Sometimes when people are dishonest...
Sure, I stabbed him.
Thank you. Thank you.
He had it coming.
The tension of you not being honest with me really made me feel like I was going to soil myself repeatedly.
And if I'm really being honest, I also painted the side of his house.
That was you?
Who else would it be? Yeah.
I genuinely believed it could have been a sign from above.
That's because you're gullible, Edwin.
Sometimes I don't think like an adult, it's true.
Yeah. So sometimes you just act like a giant baby.
What did you just say?
Yeah. You cry over the dumbest things.
I need a bottle, and if I didn't, I would take more time to tell you what a jerk you're being, Stu.
Need a bottle? Are you making fun of my wife's drinking problem now?
I would never do that. She reminds me a lot of myself in a lot of ways.
You know, I came here thinking...
I have trouble speaking sometimes.
I came here thinking I could have a peaceful conversation with you about the Derrickson home. But now I don't know. I think I will run against you.
You will never see the inside of the Derrickson home.
Oh, we'll see.
I consider that to be my extension crib, if you know what I mean.
It's a weird way to put it.
Your face is a weird way to put things, Stu.
That potential friendship seems ruined, and I've admitted to my crimes to somebody. That probably was not the best scene for Stu.
Friendship ended with Stu. Now Justice is my best friend.
All right, Edwin, where do we see your character in the spotlight next?
I think I want to jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
And we are campaigning. You have called the recall election, and we each have the opportunity to make. We each have an opportunity to take questions from the other residents of Woodwind Pines. So it's an official meeting. In my official capacity as current HOA president, I call the meeting to order. Bylaws state that the president gets to decide which of the candidates takes the first question. The candidates, of course, are me, Edwin Frett, and Stu Prestwood. But we open the floor to questions. The first question will go to me. Ted. It's great to see you, Ted, by the way.
Oh, it's good to see you too, except for the fact that you sold me a bill of goods when you told me that feller there liked reference books, and I gave him one like a right good neighbor, and he stabbed me in the side. So just because I got
allegedly.
Allegedly. Ain't no allegedly about it. You done did it. So I'm just letting you know that once I get done with Stu, Edwin, you're next.
Technically, that's not a question.
It's more of a. I should have said. Oh, well, I should have said it's more of a statement than a question. But as they say, I'll hang up and listen.
Ted, I appreciate the statement question. And I would say this. First of all, I wish, oh, how I wish there were video footage of the incident that we could use. But secondly, you can all hear me in the back, right, Justice? I wish there were video evidence of the stabbing. But secondly, I would say this. Although the HOA bylaws today do not officially ban neighbor-on-neighbor stabbing, if unrecalled and reinstated to my rightful position as the president of the HOA, I will ensure we add a no stabbing clause to the bylaws. Thank you. Stu, you have 60 seconds.
I just gotta say, as a
Time.
that was 3 seconds.
Fine.
As a upstanding member of this community, I don't think we need a bylaw about stabbing your neighbors, because I know nobody here would stab their neighbors. Some people just might stab themselves in an elaborate plot to discredit their longtime rivals, I suppose.
I was stabbed on the left side of my body, and I
excuse
am
me,
left-handed.
hold
I
aboard.
did
Does
not
this man have
the
the floor?
strength. I did not have the strength to
I'll allow
stab
it.
myself on my own left side. You are a liar, and I am going to take you down. I am going to take you down, and it's going to not be pretty, and I'm going to feel so peaceful afterwards.
Does anybody
Ted,
else in the
you're not
community
going to
have
vote for the
questions?
stabber, right? You're going to vote for me.
You know what? I think the only thing left for me to do is I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and then make it a 3-way race. Because the only qualified person to lead this here hoa is me.
Edwin,
Yes, the chair recognizes justice.
I have something I need to say. Ted, no, but if we're gonna do wrong, I'm gonna start here. I have video proof. I repeat, I have video proof
I literally just pissed my pants.
that Stu stabbed my sibling.
Hold on one moment. Edwin, you just said
Intentionally.
you just said you pissed your pants, but I see no wet spots.
It's a figure of speech.
It's a figure of speech.
You have nothing that you can say that will change proof, Stu. And Edwin, I love you, I really do, and I'm gonna make sure that justice is served.
Well, I'm ready to eat it.
Well, not justice like me, but
I was speaking metaphorically. Justice is served, and I'm ready to dine. I'm ready to suckle on the teat of justice, if you will.
I was speaking metaphorically too.
Right.
Yes.
You know what?
Yep.
I would actually like to. I see no violation of any bylaws that exist. I would like to name Justice Cruz as my vice president of the HOA.
Really?
Yes. I'm ready for a vote now. All in favor of Stu and no running mate, the stabber who's been caught on video? All in favor of the Fret Cruz ticket?
Dad.
Wait, hold on 1 second. You mean to tell me there ain't no one here in this here meeting that's willing to say in front of the world that they would vote for Ted Cruz?
That's scene.
That was positive for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stu.
Anytime Ted Cruz does not get elected is positive.
Victory for all of us.
So we've got one round of scenes left here. So Justice, where do you go next, or do you need the table to give you some inspiration?
Well, let's think about this. No, I think we're gonna need some inspiration.
By
the way, for the record, I think Edwin was wearing a diaper in that last scene. That's why there was no wet spot.
I understood.
So anyone have a pitch for Justice here? Which means Michelle will get to pick her own outcome, and with only one positive outcome left, she gets to decide if she wants it.
I feel like we've got to figure out more about this. What's going to happen with what's the name of the house?
The Derrickson home.
Yes.
We've got to figure out more about the Derrickson home, but I don't know if Justice in her new role as vice president of the HOA wants to take action on that front.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Am I allowed to have any say in this, or I just have to go with it?
I mean,
I'm
if
wondering-
you have an idea yourself, then you just take it and we'll assign the outcomes. But if you'd like us to establish the scene, we can do that.
Well, no, I think that, yeah, we definitely need to bring that in there. But I do think that Justice has something.
I'm thinking that maybe
secret
Justice
about
is
it.
going to go. Maybe she's involved in a showing of the Derrickson home to anyone but the Prestwoods, and discovers there's some more big old babies up in there. It's got 4 rooms, and there's plenty of room for them to hide.
Baby squatters.
Big baby squatters.
Big baby squatters. All right.
You might need some extra characters
Sure.
for showing the home too.
Yeah.
And
So
they're here for you.
who is Justice showing this home to?
I think a potential Woodwind. Oh, Woodwind. Whoa.
Woodwind Pines.
Pines.
Yeah.
Woodwind. Oh, my hills was on my mind. Woodwind Pines.
The neighborhood's gone through some renamings.
Through some changes. Yeah, potential Woodwind Pines people. I don't know. They want to move in.
The
They wanna-
Flendersons.
Well,
De-
yeah.
Deborah and Carl Flenderson,
Yes.
as portrayed by Mick and Mike.
Sure.
Perfect. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Flenderson, I'm so glad that you're considering.
Oh, call me Deb.
Oh, all right, Deb. You can call me. Well, you could still call me Justice. And I have lived here my entire life, and I just want to let you know that I think you would be really happy about starting your life here, having children, having game nights with all of us. I do think you'd fit in just fine.
I mean, Carl, what do you think? This place looks lovely.
This house is quite impressive. The neighborhood seems so peaceful. I could see ourselves being very happy here.
I think you see yourself properly. Now, before we head inside, I just want to point out I actually shaped that bush myself. That's one of my proudest moments since becoming the vice president of the house.
Yes.
Lovely.
We do appreciate the finely trimmed bush.
And there will be more around town that you'll see.
Is that supposed to be a unicorn?
Or narwhal.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's up to. I leave it up to the people to interpret what it is that they need to see.
We saw many narwhals on our cruise of the Arctic Circle.
Yes, on your cruise. That's usually where you see them. Well, what do you say we head inside and you
We'd
can
love to
tell
see
me
it.
if you see yourself here. Did
Yes,
you
I
just
can.
also want to point out before we go in?
What's behind this door over here?
Well, it's
Oh,
your
My.
entry.
Oakvine Garden.
Oh, well that's interesting.
It seems to be inhabited by a race of giant babies.
Hello. Oh my goodness, they're real.
Are you? I'm sorry. Does someone already live here?
No.
You.
Hi.
I do not, honey, I do not think I
Uh.
want to live in a house with an army of massive giant baby creatures.
This is the
There's 3 other rooms.
this is we hire a select group of outsiders to bless the home before we have new people move in.
Well, I don't want them. And if they do not leave immediately, then I don't think we will be buying this house.
We're not looking to adopt.
How about you head on outside and look at the backyard. You'll go ahead.
We will check the yard, but if these giant babies are still here when we get back, then I am sorry, but no sale.
I'm not even sure we need to see the yard, honey.
No. You do want to be.
and the two of us, I think, quickly run out the door, leaving Justice with a room full of giant baby people. Is Edwin one of them?
I think Edwin has to be.
And Michelle, you have to choose your own
Yeah.
outcome. here.
Since
Yes.
we set the scene for you, you decide if it's positive or negative.
Yeah, I do want to see more
So
of this.
Edwin and a bunch of other giant babies are now
Edwin?
left alone with Justice.
I'm
Edwin?
sorry, Justice.
What? Why are you talking like that? What are you
I
doing?
know you'd never ever expect it, and there have never been any clues to this. But as it turns out, I'm a giant baby. These are my giant baby friends. We're babies and we're big. We're big sized babies. We're not giants like a giant, but we're giant for babies.
I never
See?
knew Jack. Oh my God, you really are a baby. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your name in vain. I never knew that you really existed. I've heard stories, and
Can I hear a story?
I mean, I just heard stories that. Oh, you want to hear a story? No, I'm not good.
Story.
I want a story.
I don't. Edwin, gee, is this a club? Like, is this just a one-off thing, or is this a? Do you?
Have you ever noticed how my body is completely hairless? This is not a club. We're babies. That's baby Bill. That's baby Jenny. We're babies.
I don't really know what to do with this information, Edwin. I
Got
need
milk?
I don't know. I
Cheerios?
I don't know. I'm gonna need some time to think about all this. And the Hoa and our friendship.
This does not violate any aspect of the Hoa except for the part about not sneaking into houses that you don't live in. But we're babies. You can't be mad at babies.
I do still love you, but I need to think about this. I do. I need to think about this.
You love me?
Yes, but now in a completely different way, knowing that.
And scene. Yeah, I think that Justice's world was shattered a little bit.
Maybe a
So
little bit.
you gave yourself a negative there.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us over to Ted.
Okay. I think this is Ted going one last time to Justice in an attempt to get her help in enacting revenge on both Stu and Edwin. Justice, I know you don't have to tell me why, but I can tell your faith in Edwin has been shaken. I won't pry. Your reasons are your reasons. But I think I figured out a way for us both to hurt Stu and Edwin where it'll hurt them the most.
Oh, Ted, I don't think I could hurt anybody anymore.
But hear me out. I say we start our own alternative HOA. We call it Alter Hoa. And what we will do is we will usurp their authority, change all the regulations, force them to move out of the town, and sell their houses at a hefty loss.
Ted,
Yes.
my entire life, I've been second place to you.
Well, there's no shame in being
listen to me, Ted.
No, there's no shame in being second place to me. I got everything. I found a rare book that was cut from the Bible in a used bookstore, and I got stabbed in the side with a shovel. What more could you possibly want out of life than what I've got?
A lot, Ted, I do. And as second place vice president, former vice president, as a person in my position in this Hoa, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
You are not my sister anymore if you ask me to do that. You have not been the same since that day when we were youngsters. Ever since then, you've been acting like this giant baby thing was real. Well, I got news for you. There's no such thing as a giant baby. And the fact is, you've wasted your life trying to prove the existence of giant baby folk.
This is your eviction notice from Woodwind Pines.
Wait a second. You wouldn't dare.
I dare.
That's it, Justice. As of today, I have no sister.
And as of today, you have no home in this HOA.
I do not recognize the authority.
That's the scene. So yeah, that did not go well for Ted. So Stu, here's a question: did Justice show the video she said she had?
No, the mere knowledge that she said there was one was all we needed.
All right. In that case, I think this a pairing we haven't seen at all. I think for my last spotlight scene, sorry to make you do 3 in a row, Justice, but I think Stu goes to Justice to get that tape because Stu does not want to go to jail for aggravated assault. And I think, I don't know if you're in your secret room, but he comes knocking on your door. So he arrives at your house, knocking on.
Spoiler alert! Look for the X.
Ding dong.
Let me bring up. Oh, it's Stu. Intercom.
I see the lights on. I know you're home.
I am home. You can come on in.
Leaving your door unlocked. That's okay. What? Hello?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Sounds like your voice is coming from this electrical tape X on the wall.
It is. It's washi tape, though. I'm glad that it looks nicer than it is. Press it. Hi.
What the fuck?
It's just where I get a lot of my thinking done.
It looks like this is where you got your tape too.
Yes.
I came to talk some sense into you.
I figured.
Didn't want to go to jail or nothing, but it also seems you could very easily go to jail too.
There's nothing. No, that won't happen.
You're
But
illegally surveilling all of us?
it's in the contract. If anybody would have read it, the revised edition that I sent out back in November, it's
You
fine.
can't just add in a surveillance clause.
No one said I couldn't. I know that's not why you're here.
No, I'm here because I want that tape.
Well, I'm not gonna give it to you, but I just figured that. No, I'm not gonna give it to you. I'm not.
From behind my back, tucked into my belt, I pull out the spade and I said, "You're going to give that to me. Hand the tape over, or the thumb
Listen,
drive, however
listen.
you have it."
I have something better that I think you like. Maybe you don't like it. I don't know, but you're not getting the tape. I kicked my brother out. He's not gonna be a problem for you anymore. All right, he's not gonna live here anymore. He's not gonna.
Well, that sounds great, but I don't think it's supposed to be so great for me.
I know, but you getting the tape would be great too, and I'm not gonna give it to you. So, you know what? Are you giving me lip? I think you're giving me lip. I think you came here to give me lip.
I came here to threaten you with a gardening trowel.
Well, this is your notice of eviction.
What?
You don't live here in Woodwind Pines anymore. You gotta get out.
Storm out the door.
I'm gonna kick them all out. I don't want any of them here.
I think Edwin must go confront Justice. And
Final
ask
round,
whether
just everybody
suddenly
dealing with justice.
merely 2 residents, inclusive of us, in all of Woodwind Pines. I've invited her to my place because I very rarely get to entertain at home these days. And she's here.
And
Justice.
as the last scene, we already know how this one's going to have to end. So,
Oh, great.
Justice,
Edwin.
what's happening? Woodwind Pines was bustling, was growing. We were steadily adding more and more people to our happy community. But you've evicted everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You've evicted a jawless woman. You've evicted your own brother. How are we supposed to make money on Hoa dues?
Well, I did evict them out of love. And
Love?
because I know that they're better off. Because I have a proposition.
I'm listening.
Ever since that day when I was showing the old Derrickson house and I learned your secret,
You're referring to the fact that I'm actually a giant baby?
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to say it or not. It's hard.
The only person who can hear it is you on your surveillance equipment at home. It's fine.
You're right. It is pretty barren in these.
Oh, and the other babies in the next room, but it's fine.
That's right. I didn't want them around anymore because I was gonna propose that.
You were going to propose?
Well, not propose because I think you're a little too young for that. But I was thinking that maybe we could just turn this place into a giant daycare, and maybe as part of the clause, no one is allowed to actually be an adult. That we're all just big giant babies.
I'll be honest, Justice. I've spent these past many months hoping you could make a man out of me, and I know that can never be for people of my kind. But if everyone can be a baby, then I think all things are on the table, if you know what I mean.
On the changing table.
Exactly.
I'm saying that I'm willing to convert. I will follow, and I'll become a big baby too.
You would leave your namesake initial, Jesus Christ, behind?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Do you know who we pray to?
And the camera sees a baby Jesus.
Every day's December 25th.
I think that's positive for me. I'll take it.
All right. So that is the end of our actual scene work here. All that we have left is an epilogue that we need to get to in a moment. But before that, we have to do a little bit of the judgment phase here, where we each have 4 outcome cards in front of us. Mine includes the innocence card that I've got here, and Michelle, that paranoia card she has in front of her. So we can now, in order to sort of tweak the ending here, we can going around the table, starting from we'll start with Michelle here, since that last scene was a Lex scene. So Michelle, you can decide if you want to give away one of your cards in order to change your final tally, perhaps. You don't know the values on any of the face down cards offhand, unless you remember from the act break what you had from Act 1, but whether or not you do, if you want to try to push yourself positive or negative by giving away one and awarding it to somebody else, you can now do that. And if you do, tell us why it is you're trying to affect that other person's fortune going into this final thing.
I definitely am going to need to send some more negativity towards Ted.
Keep in mind, for final outcome, the more balanced,
right,
the closer to 0 someone ends up with, the worse their inevitable end. But again, you don't know the point values on these, so someone could have.
That's true. You know what, then? Definitely want Ted in a way to revenge Ted, but you know what? I think I'm going to keep things as is. Because I still think I'm a good person.
All right. So, Mick, would you like to trade away a card, awarding it to somebody else?
I'm going to send a positive over towards Edwin. Because when you get right down to it, Edwin's only crime was being a giant baby, and he didn't know any better.
All right. So that gives Lex currently 4 positive cards and 1 negative card. So yeah, that could be heavily favored in one direction. I think I would like, I'm going to, I think Stu probably deserves a worse ending than he has. So I'm going to give away one of my cards. That 4 negative seems like a high value negative, and it's the only one I know the value of. So I'm going to give that one away. And I think I want. I'm gonna award it to Ted. I think Ted, probably deserves more than he got. Having been stabbed, I wrecked his home with paint. My dog shit in his lawn.
You did do that?
Oh yeah, I confessed it to Edwin at one point.
Oh, I thought you just confessed the stabbing.
He confessed it all.
Okay.
I was a horrible neighbor, so I'm good. Even though, no guarantees. I'm going to try to push you towards one end of the scale that might work out better in the long run. Okay. And then finally, Edwin, do you want to give one away?
Oh, I think it's important that Stu be punished. I think that Stu's outcomes need to be negative. And it's not my fault that I was cursed.
So if you're trying to have Stu have the worst outcome, you would really want him to be as close to a balanced score at the end.
Interesting.
So it's up to you. Doing what you were doing would mean you only have positives, so that's also good for you. But if you're trying to balance my scales in order to put me at a 0, which could be the worst aftermath outcome, then you would want to...
What should I do? Or is it does it not... I mean...
Whatever you think's more interesting.
I'm going to just give you the negative because that's what I think is deserved, regardless of what the outcome entails.
All right. So we will take a quick 2-second break here from retally things and rearrange our table, and then we will be back with our epilogue.
Sweet.
Yay.
And we are back for the end of our game here. We've tallied stuff up and drawn our aftermath cards. Stu has ended up in a pathetic position. And I think we see this shortly after the events of his eviction. He's probably living out of a motel with Abigail, looking for a new place to live, when there's a knock on the door and 3 police officers are there to place him in cuffs, and he's swearing his innocence, but the one cop, as he's reading his rights, the other cop goes, "We got the video evidence. You're going away for 5 to 10 aggravated assault. Take him away." And then gets his head knocked as he goes into the car. The flashing lights on Abigail as she reaches for the bottle,
and she yells out, "I could talk the whole time."
Where do we see Ted in his hapless ending, Mick?
So Ted, say it's about 6 months down the line. Obviously, things did not end all that well for him in Wynwood Pines. So he and with being kicked out of the HOA, he felt it was imperative that he move. So Ted has moved to a nice new neighborhood across the state, just trying to make a fresh start of things. His first day in his new house, he's getting unpacked, and he sees his neighbor out in the backyard doing some yard work. And he goes up to him to try to be neighborly and make some small talk, and absentmindedly comments on some kids he sees playing in the street. But, man, he got some ugly kids in this neighborhood. Only
That's
to find
my
out,
son.
Oh, shit. And a new blood feud begins.
So Justice has been born again, and quite literally, and she's doing all right. She's hitting all her milestones. She's between 6 and 9 months, and she's been maybe feeling some regret, but doesn't quite know how to put it into words. She's not quite able to vocalize how she feels about abandoning her old faith. But she's doing all right. she definitely is repulsed with herself because she's not used to, you know, defecating in her pants, but she's doing okay. She's not sure how this is going to go, but she's still here with the big babies for now.
Who changes Justice's diapers?
Herself.
It's been a year. And the new bylaws state only babies. There is no one to take care of us. There is no one to feed us. There is no one to clean up after us. And all day, I'm surrounded by screaming, crying, defecating babies. We ran out of diapers in month 7, but no one's old enough to go to the store. We're not even old enough to operate our smartphones to order new ones. It is a hell. That's all. It's a hell.
Did you ever finish the topiary project?
Our little baby hands are too small to work the scissors now.
Her motor skills are not
Even
strong
though we're
enough.
giant babies.
And that is the end of our game of Fiasco with the home invasion playset. We went to places I did not expect. But it's been a blast playing with you guys. Again, we are Death by Improv. If you've stuck around this long, you already know that. But
My mom.
But we've got Lex, Michelle, Mick, and I'm Mike. And please join us again. Check out our YouTube channel for later this month if you happen to be watching this relatively close to real time. On March 26th, we've got a game night that Lex will be spearheading. Why don't you tell the crowd about it, Lex?
We're going to be playing Jackbox games for your amusement. You'll even be able to play along at home as the audience, but we're going to be trying to make each other laugh and defeat each other. This is a game where we all lose together, but in Jackbox, at least one of us will win every single time.
And be sure to subscribe below, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, find us wherever the internet is.
On the streets.
Wherever fine books are sold.
And, be safe, be well, have a good night.